Durham went down to a heavy NatWest T20 blast defeat at home to Notts, the loss being by 9 wickets with 4 overs of the match unused at the end. The Jets themselves failed to complete their 20 overs, batting first slipping to 8 for 2 from the first 10 deliveries of the contest. Cameron Steele slogged Luke Wood's first ball of the game to extra cover, where Dan Christian gleefully held on. And 3 balls later, Paul Collingwood, up at number 3 to add experience at the top, skied a pull off a quick delivery to Harry Gurney, who won't have many easier catches. Graham Clark had a rebuilding job to do in partnership with Michael Richardson, the former going after Jake Ball, hitting the England man for 3 fours in the space of 4 deliveries in the final over of the power play, which ended with Richardson on 9, bottom edging a ball onto his stumps to leave with a score on 54 for 3. The runs column pretty good, but the wicket one already posing a problem. Samit Patel came back on once the fielding restrictions were lifted and Clark was taken behind for a top score of 41. He'd batted well in making those runs off 27 balls, 7 of which had brought in boundaries. Jack Burnham then gave the spinner a second wicket in his next over, drilling the ball to Christian, a loss which now left the Jets facing an uphill task again on 65 for 6. The next ball it got yet worse as Stuart Pointer was bowled, beaten in the flight, Patel taking 3 for 26 from his 4 overs for a side on an upward curve in this competition. 78 for 6 was the score at the halfway stage, with Ryan Pringle and Paul Coughlin then left with not too many opportunities to take many risks. They steadily built a partnership which was to be worth 39 runs, those being compiled in 5 overs. But with a total of 104, the 7th wicket fell as Pringle on 19 picked out Brendan Taylor in the deep off Stephen Mullaney, who was then involved in the run out of Coughlin for 23, Durham slipping to 114 for 8. The innings was all over at the start of the penultimate over. Barry McCarthy was stumped by Tom Moores of Isodi, while Chris Rushworth lofted Gurney to Mullaney at mid-off, leaving 18-year-old debutant Liam Travaskis stranded on a neatly compiled 13 made from 17 balls. And it was Travaskis who was given the first over of the reply. A tough job certainly when you're faced with the big-hitting Riki Wessels and Alex Hales. This pair had very little problem in quickly taking the game well away from Durham's grasp. Boundaries came easily for these two, especially Hales, they having their side at 64 without loss, more than halfway home with all wickets in hand by the time the 6 overs of power play were completed. Hales had hit 10 fours in his 44 when he came down the pitch to be bowled by Travaskis. A great moment for the youngster on what was otherwise a bit of a miserable night for the home support. Wessels and Brendan Taylor then coasted their way through the rest of the game. Not enough pressure put on the visitors because of the lack of runs in the first innings. Wessels cantered to a runnable 49, while Taylor finished the match off with the one and only 6 of the night to end on 33. In all honesty, it was all just a little too easy against a side lacking confidence in this competition this year. Notts ended on 129 for 1, the game over with 24 balls not required. The Jets need to quickly pick themselves up and dust themselves down ahead of their next game, which comes immediately in Yorkshire.